Hey everyone, Richard from Design and Built here. This is a really exciting episode because we get to continue final assembly for my Barra powered Land Cruiser. We're going to attempt to get it out of the garage and ship it off to the auto elec. Those of you who have been following along from the start know this could be problematic because it barely made it into the garage, and since then we put big tyres and a lift on. So will we make it? What are we going to do? Watch this episode. I'm really conscious of which brands I choose to promote on the channel, and you've probably heard of car builders before. They're really local to me, just down the road in fact. I've got some great products from them. I've got Harrison here and he's helping me out with the car builder. So this is the stage one and this pretty much just goes everywhere. So the first layer's in. This went in relatively easy, a bit time consuming with the hard bits around the firewall. Just mounting up some of the accessories. Got my second battery and then a DC-DC charger there. Sound deadening complete. So we've put the stage 2 stuff on, so I guess the floor stuff is much heavier and it doesn't have an adhesive, so it's literally just designed to sort of sit on horizontal and near horizontal surfaces. And then this stuff's really light, and that's important because when you have it up high, you don't want it to be heavy at all. So it's yeah, I've got the tar stuff, the stage 1 on the back, and then the stage 2 on it as well. Look, it's a 4-wheel drive and it is absolutely going to get muddy, but I'm also doing long trips in it and I kind of want a bit of comfort on the long trips. So hopefully this stuff, I know it is pretty water resistant and stuff, but as soon as you get like that nasty, stanky bog hole mud in it, then I don't know if we'll be able to get it out. Possibly I should be putting some bungs in or something like that. Really important to note, I've cut profiles around the seat frame, and that's because it's really not good practice to be clamping down onto sound deadener for something structural such as a seat frame. Got some help tonight, so just bolting in the seat frame. So washers everywhere and nylocks on the bottom. Just putting in the AC, and we've got George bolting in the computer. How is it, George?
Yeah, I've had plenty of experience with ECUs, mate, so should be alright.
Have a listen. Compressor and tank in. Handbrake in with a cable through the floor. George, do you want to actuate it for us? Use your hands. Hand model. Yeah, beautiful. Perfect. And then George is bolting in the fridge now. Got Harry on the brake booster. Show you from the other side. So the engine bay is starting to look pretty complete. Got the fridge in, we've got everything bolted up so we can finally put the seats in. We've got throttle pedal, got to put the brake pedal in. But yeah, we're looking like a car. Update time, got the doors on this afternoon. Just waiting on a few gaskets for the windows, which means I can't really assemble the rest of the door. I'll put the handles on though. So as I've mentioned, this is going on display at MotorX and it may or may not be registered by then. So I want to try and keep it as fresh as I possibly can up until the end of April. And then hopefully it'll be registered and we can take it out on the track so I can rip off all the masking tape and we can start having some fun in it. Just sound deadening the roof before it goes on. So I've got my mate Richie here. He's about to use the roller. Use the car builder's roller, mate. Beautiful. This stuff's gonna make a heap of difference on the roof because it's paper thin. Now I'm still waiting on some new door pins and unfortunately there's no way to get them out unless you sort of take the roof off and fold the windscreen a bit forward. So the roof's on, it's only loosely bolted with a few bolts and I haven't siliconed it yet, and I think a good thing to do would be to silicon around the seal just to make sure it doesn't leak. So that's going to happen when it comes back from the auto elect, so it's only sort of just sitting there, but it definitely won't fly off on the highway. It's not going anywhere. A little bit of pinch weld action.
It's all about the finishing touches, mate. Primo.
Look at this. It's well finished, isn't it, Rich? That's an in-joke. Apologies, viewers. I'm going to leave that in there, though. Pinch weld is now done. Richie did an excellent job. And have a look at the dash. It's sort of starting to contrast, so I need my switches in there, but apart from that, it's pretty done. And like I've sort of mentioned in earlier videos, I'd love to get some extra vents in there. One more thing, I really want to put some rubber in here, but that's going to happen once it's back from the auto electrician. My keys and stuff won't rattle around and scratch it all, and then it also won't move side to side when we're up on the side. The last little bits, I've still got to do the roof console, but I want to fit that up and punch some holes in it before I spray it. So these are like the last little hang-on bits, and I've got some stuff on the cardboard down there now. Obviously not the perfect environment. I would much rather be spraying in my shed, but I don't want to risk getting any black paint on that beautiful paint job. It's not really going to matter in a few months, but for now, I'm just going to keep it clean and pristine. So I'm going to go ahead and spray all this stuff now, and yeah, let's get it done. Got the door stops in, all the door handles, so the doors finally close again. I've got to put the frame in. I'm waiting on some gaskets. We'll do that when it's back from the auto elect, but the moral of the story is the doors open and close, so that's fantastic news. Change of pace, back to the roof console. So I've got 3 things that I want to install on it, and I left this blank on purpose because I didn't quite know how many switches I was actually going to need. But I think it's become evident. I've got 8 in the car and then another 6 here, so that's 14 all up. I can always add a couple more there as well. So I guess I've been thinking about the layout, and I kind of want the UHF in the middle. That's a nice big thing to grab when you're reaching over there. And then the switches closer to the driver's side. And then over on the passenger side, I was thinking I'd just put some USB chargers, and that's just so I can charge a bit of camera gear and possibly phones and that sort of stuff as well. The more USBs, the merrier, in my opinion. So I'll get a hole saw there. I'll put some nutserts in there and then cut out a slot for that. And then after that, I've actually got to weld in these ribs. So they fit up in there, and I've just got to do some alley tigging. And then after that, we're going to put some 2-pack on it. I really want this to be black. I mean, the rest of my car is basically a contrast of sandy taupe and black, and this is not going to be an exception. So I've got to do a good job of painting it. Roof console all done. So I've punched the holes in the front for my switches, my UHF, and my USB charger. I've also put these ribs in. Now these ribs are purely functional. You can't actually really see them from where you're sitting, but they're just to stop stuff rolling into these center areas, and then you wouldn't be able to access it. And I've also punched some holes in there just for access. Now, again, you can't really see it from where you're sitting. In hindsight, possibly I should have punched them on this side because that would have been better for wiring, but you live and learn. I guess next time I do an FJ build, I'll learn from it. So I think we're good to go to paint. So again, we'll be painting out in the backyard. Not a glamorous setup, but don't have the space to do it anywhere else. Film, do a good job, get it ready for the auto elec pick 2, and I chose to not film, so I try to do a good job and get it ready for the auto elec. So I was under some serious time pressure, but hopefully you'll be able to see from some time lapses and some still shots. So the car is almost finished now. There's still a few big outstanding jobs like brakes and handbrake, and there's a whole heap of little jobs. I'll give you an example. All of these bolts are the old ones, so I'm going to swap them out for stainless steel bolts, but that's all going to happen in due time. So it's literally going on a trailer tonight to the auto elecs, and then it's going to come back to me in a few weeks time. We'll get all the small stuff done, and then yeah, we'll try and get it through engineering. This is a look into the interior of the car. So I've got all my rocker switches, all my drive switches are down here, and my transfer case one, and then I've got all my lights and fuel up the top, which you can't really see in the light. I've also done the black roof console, and I've got the UHF. So the inside's pretty much done. It does need a center console. Actually, I need a way to finish the floors, and I don't particularly like carpet, so I was thinking about a vinyl matting or perhaps a rubber. If anyone's got any experience with either in the comments, let me know. But yeah, not overly keen on carpet in a 4-wheel drive, or marine carpet for that matter. But yeah, I guess this is sort of the interior. Super happy with it. It's you know, reasonably basic, but yeah, I think it came out all right in the end. Ended up going for the Sandy Taupe rear guards to match the cab, obviously, and we're going to do the infill panels in Sandy Taupe as well, so it gives the back end a little bit of colour as opposed to the standard black. So all the hang-on bits I've gone in black. We'll have the Land Cruiser badges in it somewhat black as well, just to give it a bit more contrast. So sandy and black, no silver, I mean apart from the stainless bolts, and a bit of red in the engine and stuff. That's sort of the colour scheme that I'm going for. Viewers who have been following from the start will know that it's unlikely to fit out my garage. In fact, it's definitely not going to fit out. And there have been a heap of questions on all my videos about whether it'll fit out or not, and it won't. So we have to deflate the tyres to get it out to the Auto Elect tonight. Now we are going to do something about it. I don't want to keep this out on the street, and I think if this was your car and you'd put over 2,000 hours into it, plus a bunch of money and effort, I don't think you would want to keep it out on the street either. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you keep a car like this out on the street? But I personally don't want to, so I guess I'm going to have to fix up my garage, which involves some designing and building, and I don't know if I'll put on YouTube, but yeah, I'll sort it out. So tonight, we're just going to deflate the tyres, roll it out, put it on a trailer, and yeah, take it to the Auto Elect tomorrow. We've cleared it, job done, tyre's pretty flat. Who knows how we're gonna get it back in. There's no drive shafts in it, it doesn't drive. We'll figure it out when we get to it. Pretty pumped, we've just gotta load it up on the trailer. Just inflating the tyres so we can go left hand down, and then we'll load her in. On the way to the Auto Elects. Although it's not quite finished, the overall look of the car isn't going to change really anymore. I guess it still looks like a 40 series to me, but it is heavily modified, and I like it, otherwise I wouldn't have built it, but let me know what you guys think of it. So the day we rolled this car out of the garage was about 15 months since it rolled in. So I've been working pretty diligently for the last 15 months, and I'd estimate in upwards of about 2,000 hours of my time, plus I've had a few hundred volunteer hours, so shout out to all my friends that have come down and swung some spanners to help me get through this. Couldn't have done it without you. So probably talking about 2,200 hours, thereabouts, probably a little bit more. And there's another 50 to 100 to go, I'd estimate, before we get it onto the road, as long as there's nothing major that goes wrong. So why am I telling you all this? Because we're getting towards the end of the build, and I'm getting pretty damn excited to drive this thing. So as soon as it comes back from the auto electrician, I'm going to finish off those big jobs that I was talking about, as well as tackle a bunch of the smaller ones as well, and we'll try and get it through engineering and get it registered. The car is now at the auto electrician's getting fully wired, and if all goes to plan, it will come back to me as a turnkey vehicle, which is really exciting. And we'll go through the detail on wiring and why I decided to send it out to an auto electrician in a future episode. So that's pretty much all for this episode, guys. But if you enjoy the build or enjoy the content and would like to see more, don't forget to hit a like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Thank you.